Hello, and welcome to History Chats. Hey, we're jumping right into this week. That's because this is pre-recorded. Without getting too deep into it, Gary and I are both going to be gone, our usual hosts for the program. We're going to be elsewhere, occupied with the local history conference that's happening right now. So instead, we decided to pre-record something. So this video is just going to go live at the normal time, and hopefully you'll still enjoy. But I just wanted to explain that, and also just to set this up, I'm going to turn it over to Brenna Welch. Brenna has been our intern here for the last few months, working on digitizing the aviation collection of Bob Wylie. And it's been great having her. She's been doing a great job, and we kind of sprung this on her saying, hey, would you mind doing a program here? And yeah, she was game and did a great job. So we'll be back next week with some more live history, but in the meantime, I hope you enjoy this little insight into the Wylie Aviation Collection, care of Brenna Welch.
Hello, my name is Brenna Welch. I will be talking to you about the Robert Wylie Aviation Collection. Just wanted to introduce myself really quick. I am a history major and sociology minor at UW-Stevens Point. I'm also an intern here at Marathon County Historical Society. I've recently been cataloging Marathon County's aviation collection. This collection includes newspaper clippings, photographs, articles, programs, etc. And it was put together by Robert Wylie, who has also published a book called Wings North, Wausau's Aviation History, that details this collection and the extensive history that Wausau has in aviation. How did I end up at Marathon County Historical Society? My amazing advisor and professor, Dr. Brett Barker at UWSP, worked to secure an internship opportunity for me in order to gain experience and assist in applying to graduate school, which hopefully I will be doing this winter. Everyone from Marathon County Historical Society has been incredible. They've been so flexible and supportive in ensuring that I have every resource and capability to work with the aviation collection. After an incredible and long summer's worth of work, archivist and historian Ben Clark and executive director Mary Forer ensured that I could continue working with the collection the rest of the year in order to finish cataloging it. Their incredible amount of effort and support for me to continue working with this collection is more than anything I could have asked for. Now jumping into the actual collection itself, I just chose a few of my favorite items so far that I've found. We'll start with John Schfister and his self-designed and built airplane. A little history about John. On June 23, 1911, Schfister flew the state's first home-built airplane, named the Minnesota Badger, capable of sustained powered flight. Constructed of wooden ribs covered with light cotton cloth and powered by an early model aircraft engine, Schfister's biplane flew for several hundred feet at a maximum altitude of 20 feet. In 1912, Schfister was seriously injured in a plane crash, but he continued to construct and fly his own airplanes, making him Wisconsin's first successful home builder. This is an advertisement for Knights of the Air. The subculture of the Knights of the Air that was formed in the First World War have been passed down through the decades and remain the key elements of fighter pilot culture event today. Pilots that focused on pursuit, also known as air-to-air combat, began developing their own subculture, partly as a response to the bleak conditions of trench warfare on the ground. Pursuit pilots valued their independence and aggressiveness and tended to see themselves as heroes. For all involved, this culture, itself a romanticization of reality, was a callback to a romanticized past, yet it was a powerful force that both brought pursuit pilots together and separated them from other types of flyers and soldiers. This next photo is one that I really like a lot. There's not too much history behind it other than the title, so it's an aerial photo reportedly taken by Ed Kramer with W.I. Lissart's camera, who was a relatively popular photographer in the area at the time, while tied to the wing struts of Mark Hubbard's biplane. This specific aerial photo is over the Wisconsin River, and like the title says, it was taken attached to the plane mid-flight. This next photo also doesn't have too much history behind it. Most of it is in the title, titled Irv Hall, Pilot and Miss Wausau, Marion McCulloch, with Hall Aircraft's Alexander Eagle Rock. This is, so far, my absolute favorite photograph from the collection. This one is entitled 3 Taper Wing Wacos with Special Landing Gear in Flight. The Waco taper wing is a legend in aviation. To many, the Waco name is synonymous with taper wing. It first came to fame in the 1928 Transcontinental Air Derby from New York to Los Angeles. Also, in 1928, the taper wing was the first commercial airplane to perform an outside loop. This airplane was excused from utility work and spent its life entertaining spectators and pilots. This is also a photograph of a Waco. This one is a Sport Waco with a Wright Whirlwind engine. A version of the Waco taper wing, arguably the most important radial engine ever produced, the Wright J5 or Whirlwind, was the first commercially successful radial engine. First introduced in 1925 as a replacement for the exposed valve train J4, the J5 won immortality as the engine that carried Charles Lindbergh and the Spirit of St. Louis across the Atlantic in May 1927 to win the $25,000 Orteig Prize for nonstop flight in either direction between New York City and Paris. This photo is of John Wood's 1928 National Air Tour trophy. Wood was an avid participant in state and national air races, finishing near the top in coast-to-coast races in 1927 and 1928. Also in 1928, Wood won the 6,200-mile Ford Motor Company National Reliability Tour. The race included an early stop in Wausau, making him a local celebrity. This is a painting of an Ox5 Eagle Rock. The Alexander Eagle Rock series was one of several civilian aircraft brands that emerged after World War I. Moving away from the Denver-based Alexander Aircraft Company at mile-high altitudes, equipped with a Curtiss OX5 90-horsepower engine, Eagle Rocks joined Wacos, Travel Airs, and Swallows as the most popular general aviation aircraft of the late 1920s. Staying on the topic of OX5 Eagle Rocks, this is a poster of the Ox5 Club of America. The purpose of these meetings was to round up aviation people and to honor them for the part they played in laying the foundation of the aviation industry as we know it today. I chose this poster for one of my favorites of the collection, just because I think it is a very interesting representation of aviation culture at the time and the advancement of technology in air travel. This one was one that I found a little more humorous now, but probably not so much back then when they first put it out. This is a Propeller public service announcement, just reminding people that whirling propellers are invisible and killing. Shows the right way to walk around the tail of a ship and the wrong way, and reminds people to keep away from whirling propellers and stationary ones. This photograph is also one of my favorites from the collection. This is John Wood and Grace Paul, King and Queen of Winter Carnival, in front of the C.C. Yawkey home, which is actually across from the Woodson History Center here in Wausau. The Winter Carnival has been going on for about 150 years, and I think it is very cool that John Wood, a local celebrity, as stated before, was the king of this event that still goes on today. Last but not least, this is a photograph of John Wood with his helmet, goggles, and flying leathers. John P. Wood volunteered for duty with the United States Air Service in World War I. After the war, he barnstormed or traveled around giving exhibitions of flying and performing aeronautical stunts in the southeastern United States until he was invited to Wausau, Wisconsin in 1926. Backed by a local investor, Wood incorporated Northern Airways Company based at Wausau's new Alexander Field. Wood was an avid participant in state and national air races, finishing near the top in coast-to-coast races in 1927 and 28. Also in 1928, Wood won the 6,200-mile Ford Motor Company National Reliability Tour. The year would not end well for the young company and its daring owner. In September 1929, Wood was piloting a new Lockheed Vega in a race from Los Angeles to Cleveland. 2 hours out of LA, the aircraft was struck by lightning, causing the fuel tank to explode. While his mechanic would survive the incident, unfortunately, Wood did not. And I wanted to end the collection today with this picture of Wood and some of the history about him and in Wausau, as he was a beloved member of the community, as we saw in previous items in the collection, and I felt like his just his donations and his effort put into developing aviation was really important when talking about history of aviation in the collection itself. So on that note, that's all for today, at least on my part. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of my favorite pieces from this collection. And I look forward to talking to you guys again. Thank you very much.
So there you go. That was the program. Thanks so much, Brenna, for doing that. Again, we didn't necessarily approach her about this until very recently. So this wasn't something like, oh, as part of the internship, you're going to do a program. So, but again, rolled with it and did a great job. So thank you for that. Just to give a little bit of context from the institution's point of view, from what, the work that she is doing and others, volunteers and interns have done over the years and continue to do, we have a lot of stuff in our collections that is not particularly accessible. Whether that's because it's not indexed very well, or the photographs, the objects are not digitized, and the process can be kind of a long, grueling thing to do, to come in and just scan for a couple hours every day. But it's really worth it because it allows us to create this, record of here is what exists within the collection. And we're able to use that to better utilize the collection. Thanks again to Brenna. I'm just going to use the opportunity just to tell you what's coming up next week. Again, we will be back live next week. I didn't make a specific graphic for this, but we will be continuing our delving into the archives to find some stories. And this time, next week, I'm going to be doing a program about the County Highway Department records. A handful of boxes that have been sitting there for I don't even know how long. Actually, I don't entirely know what's in all of them. So this would be a fun opportunity to dig in and share with you some interesting stories that I know some of them exist, and I'm excited to find out what else is there as well. So I hope you join us for that next week at our usual time, 12:30 on Thursday. But thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching to this point. If you're still watching, always appreciate it. And have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time.